Welcome back guys. So in this video I'll be talking about the details of the new and upcoming public open beta build of EtherSS2 PS2 Android emulator. Now a lot of people were asking me why I was not testing the new alpha builds. Let me answer this question. This is the website of EtherSS2. Here they have explained the difference between alpha and beta builds of this emulator. Now I test the public beta build that is available on Play Store. This build is recommended to people who just want to play the game. Now there is another build, the alpha build. This build is meant for closed testing. It is not released on Play Store. You can download it from EtherSS2 website. The alpha builds do have new features, but they are buggy as well. The testers test these builds, report the bugs to the developers. Now I don't do that. With these closed alpha builds, your save states will also stop working. As you can read here, we recommend you use the beta version. No support will be provided for the alpha version as we have an internal tester team to report issues with it to us. The new features that are present in the closed alpha build will be coming to the public beta build. We just have to wait. As you can see here, the last public open beta build was alpha 720. This build is available on Play Store as well. If you want to download the closed alpha build, you can download it from here. As you can see, the alpha builds are released frequently. These builds do have new features, but they are buggy as well. Use them at your own risk and expect to lose your save states. Moving on to the features of the new public open beta build of EtherSS2 emulator. Talred shared this information on the Patreon page of EtherSS2. First of all, you should be knowing this. Old save states are not compatible. Consider this post warning that you should save your games to memory card. If you are relying on save states, please do not update to the new build. Now this is why I created a tutorial video showing you how to increase the capacity of the memory card of this emulator. So before updating your public beta build, just make sure you have saved your game's progress to the memory card. Crashes on opening graphics setting. If you find the app crashes when opening graphics setting, reset your global settings. Swipe out from left, reset settings. This is only necessary if you were using an older alpha build. If you were on build 720 open testing, you should not need to do this. So if you are not using any of the closed alpha builds, you should not face this issue. Resync with upstream. The emulation core has been synced with the upstream code, pulling in a range of compatibility fixes. Now this is huge. In the current public beta build, a lot of PS2 games have compatibility issues. This should help in fixing them. If you are finding you have a significant performance loss after updating, make sure that conservative buffer allocation in advanced settings is enabled. We'll see when we receive the build. Mappable controllers, both ports and hotkey support. This feature has been added. A lot of people were asking me about the offline multiplayer support. This will be addressed with this next public beta build. Probably one of the most requested features, controllers are now mapped instead of using a fixed binding from your device. You will need to map your controller to continue to use it once you update. This is now similar to Dolphin emulator. In Dolphin emulator, before using a gamepad, we need to map the keys of our gamepad with the Dolphin emulator's virtual gamepads. Same thing with EtherSS2 emulator. There is an auto mapping feature, but it may not work for all controllers and you may have to change some bindings manually. I'm pretty sure it will work for popular controllers like Xbox One controller. But the thing is, there are a lot of Chinese gamepads. It's not possible to support all of them. But good thing that we have the custom mapping feature. Two emulated controllers are present and can be mapped to separate devices. So with this update, now we can connect two Bluetooth gamepads to our Android device and then access the offline multiplayer mode. There's a range of hotkeys associated with speed, control and saving available now. More will be added in the future. These hotkeys can be bound to combinations of chords of up to 4 buttons axis like L1 plus R1 plus X. Since most controllers do not have enough buttons for one per hotkey alone, you can also use the hardware buttons on your phone, example volume buttons for hotkeys. So now we will be able to assign a hotkey to process the pressing of combination of keys. The hotkey can be assigned to a phone's keys as well, for example the volume buttons. Vulkan Render improvements. The Vulkan Render has been rewritten to use the new shared hardware GS Render Additional optimization has resulted in a speed improvement in many titles. Now guys, I have noticed one thing. As of now on EtherSS2 emulator, Vulkan is not stable on every device. On some of the older devices, games instantly crash when using Vulkan. I have noticed this on my Pocophone F1. It is running on Android 10, but it's not limited to just older devices. Even on my ROG Phone 5 that has Android 11, I have noticed crashing issue in some games when using Vulkan. Now this crashing issue does not occur in the same game when they are running on my other devices like Poco X3 Pro and Mi 11X. So hopefully this crashing issue will be fixed. MIP mapping and trilinear anisotropic filtering is now supported. A number of rendering issues have been resolved. The Vulkan render also now supports software blending. However, it is currently disabled on Adreno due to driver bugs. Okay. Perhaps ironically, it seems to work okay on Mali. So for this update, software blending is not working with Adreno GPUs. It's working with Mali GPUs. Basic support for Vulkan on Mali devices. Vulkan render now has basic support for Mali devices. As we still do not have a Mali device, hopefully getting one soon. This has not been tested, but dual source blending is no longer a hard requirement. Early feedback from testers has shown that some games run fine, others have graphical glitches. Now a lot of people who have phones with Mali GPUs have reported to me about some graphical bugs. Some of these bugs are not present when using Adreno GPUs, so hopefully these bugs will be fixed with this update. Moving on, FMV switching options. The ability to automatically change the aspect ratio when a FMV starts. This can be done from graphics setting, as well as switch to the software render for FMV full motion videos. Advanced setting game fixes has been added. Fixes for texture preloading. Texture preloading previously had issues when being used in combination with GPU palette textures and or duplicate frame skipping. These are now resolved. The thing is, on the older builds with these settings enabled, I noticed an improvement in the performance, but graphical bugs used to occur. So good to see this issue has been resolved. Additional GS options, bilinear, trilinear, anisotropic filtering, tethering and interlacing options have been added, as well as zoom and vertical stretch. These can also be set per game, of course. We'll see these features when we receive the updates. So that's it. This update should be coming this week. So let's see how things go. You will be able to download the update from Play Store, but if you want it earlier, you should be checking the website of EtherSS2. So guys, I'll end the video here. I hope you found it useful. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.